The thrill can kill. The drug dealers need to know that we want them out of our schools, neighborhoods, and our lives. And the only way to do that is to take the customers away from the product. Say no to drugs and say yes to life.
When I hear the word drug war, a number of things come to mind. I hear a failed attempt by the U.S. government
under Reagan to this active policy to prevent the growth of coca and to try to eradicate coca, the plant. The people who grow it are not the ones who process it. So they sell the leaves to these narco traffic people. And those are the people who process it. It's a toxic process because they use a lot of chemicals. That's what gets smuggled out of the countries and ends up either as cocaine or crack.
Growing up on the south side of Chicago, I was witness to drug at an early age. The people I looked up to as role models sold drugs as a second job. At my elementary school, I remember the conversation that a student and I had, where the student mentioned everyone has a crackhead in their family. I was never aware of how many families were affected by crack and cocaine. This led me to ask, what is the cause of this?
The drug war has been going on for so long, and it really is a war. A lot of people in America don't really understand what it means, both on this side of the border and in the countries where they are producing these drugs.
I think on one end, the administration and the states and local legislations allocated a lot of money under DARE and the drug war, and to hype up the budgets for a lot of our protection agencies.
If there was no demand in the United States for these drugs, the drug war wouldn't exist. And as long as there is this continued demand in the United States, there will be people who are going to fight over the profits of this illegal product, and there are people who are going to die over this.
Drug pusher may tell you a little something different about these drugs, and who you believe is up to you. But then again, if you go ahead and try them, at least it won't be out of ignorance, just stupidity.
The U.S. tries to stop the drug flow in one country and they succeed, or one route, and it just goes somewhere else because there is so much money at stake. The people down in Colombia, the people in Mexico, their lives have really been devastated by this, just as people in many parts of Chicago, where drug trafficking is prevalent and drug use is prevalent, have been devastated as well. I think the war on drugs is in many ways a war on communities. I mean, I think that it is so pervasive now because I believe structures of families in certain communities have been destroyed. There are no jobs in these communities. And this is in no way to make excuses for people who are selling drugs. There is no excuse for selling drugs. Drugs destroys people's lives. But drug trafficking comes out of hopelessness that exists in communities. I think there has to be a complete rethinking of what it means to send somebody to prison for possession or low-level drug trafficking.
I think that we over-arrest and over-incarcerate, like alarmingly disproportionately affecting people of color, youth of color, black and brown specifically.
It's more money on enforcement of the usage and less money on where it's being grown and produced. There's less interest.
They don't understand how drug use here contributes to those people being beheaded in Mexico and being shot and killed in Colombia. They need to understand that. You can't just fight this war by killing people and by arresting people. This war will go on forever.
My thoughts on this topic has changed throughout the process. My original opinion was the most effective way to end coca production is for first world countries to provide alternatives, and farmers in South America could easily change and adapt to better lifestyle.
The United States' subsidy process of subsidizing farmers in the United States has had a negative impact on agricultural production around the world.
The strategy we've been implementing now may be politically expedient, but is not effective.
What subsidies are we giving them? What are we doing in these foreign countries to encourage and to make a farmer grow those drugs?
Different kind of programs have been tried in South America to incentivize farmers to turn away from coca production. So they did get credit to grow coffee. They did get sort of, subsidies in that sense to grow corn or other cash crops and that were not coca. Nothing that was offered to these communities, as subsidies or alternative crops were as lucrative as growing coca.
Is there another alternative? Can you give him a coffee crop? Can you give him a catfish farm to make money? What's the alternative income stream?
The long-term solution is better treatment for people in our country who are addicted to cocaine. I think we need to make visible the use of cocaine by the wealthy so that people can, understand who is behind the drug trade and what the consequences of it are. I think we need to ultimately probably regulate and legalize a lot of the criminal, what now is illegal, and figure out a way that it can be legal but safe, regulated, because just legalizing alone is not going to work either.
When legalization was brought up, it seemed so simple. By legalizing the drug distribution will be regulated and decrease of violence and other issues relating to growing the coca crop in South America. In this country, addicts will have better treatment, which will lead to a better alternative than prison, and the reduction of violence surrounding coca will reduce.
I don't think anybody will miss the point.